friends, Kristine McKinley here with the Real Estate Chicks, and I'm going to break down today in this video what it's actually like living in Orlando, and I'm not going to sugarcoat anything. There are some things to talk about today, but let's break down the pros and cons of living in Orlando. And I'm going to break this into a few different categories. I have entertainment, I have the food scene, I have weather, I have traffic, I have like ease of living, affordability. I have a lot of content for you guys that'll be super helpful for determining if you're going to move to Orlando or not, so stay tuned. Okay, so first of all, just to give me some street cred, why am I able to talk about living in Orlando? Well, first of all, I've been in Orlando since 2001. I was raised in Oviedo. I'm not born and raised in Orlando, but I was raised in Oviedo. So I went to a lot of the Seminole County school zones, went to UCF for my MBA. So I have experience in the school zones, public school zones, private schools, colleges. I also am a realtor here in Orlando, so I am constantly driving all around the city, and I have to get to know these neighborhoods very well in order to be of service to my clients. So I know Claremont, I know Winter Garden, I know Oviedo, I know Lake Mary, Deltona, downtown Orlando, Kissimmee, the parks. I know all of this stuff. I do feel like I'm allowed to talk about the pros and cons, and I'm allowed to be honest in this video because I feel like I have a lot of experience living, working, playing, and having a good time in Orlando. So for starters, let's talk about the ease of living in Orlando. Now, I mentioned earlier that I wasn't raised in Orlando, like I wasn't born and raised in Orlando, but I was born and raised in San Diego. And I would say that city, there are so many beautiful parts to San Diego, but it's not easy living in San Diego. The traffic is absolutely awful. It's very expensive. Finding housing is difficult. And I just don't feel that Orlando's that way at all. One thing I can kind of say is that in Orlando, our interstate system is really good. I know that people complain about I-4, but I just don't have anything bad to say about I-4 until you are down by the parks. I-4 has a really, really great system. First of all, it's a big road. It cuts through all of Orlando in basically like a diagonal. It goes all the way, well, it goes past this, but like when I think about Orlando, where Orlando starts, like I kind of think about Deltona, right? Deltona is about 30 minutes on I-4 from downtown Orlando. So if you were to draw like a 30-minute radius around Orlando, I would start at Deltona, and I-4 cuts right between Deltona, comes all the way down Altamont Springs, so you can get to Apopka super easy. Then it keeps going. It goes all the way through Winter Park, goes through College Park, goes through downtown Orlando, and then it takes you to Windermere. It is a very busy road, yes, but as far as traffic, not really. And honestly, we have some really good express lanes starting north of Winter Park. If you're going from South Orlando to, let's say, Lake Mary or Deltona at the end of your day, you hop on the express lane and it's not that bad. Like I was saying earlier, the express lane really starts in Maitland and it takes you all the way down to the Mall Millennia. So even if you're, somewhere else in Orlando and you want to go shopping at the Mall Millennia, which is our best mall, you have a straight shot all the way there. So you're not dealing with all of the traffic anyways. I don't know why people complain about I-4 so much. I think if you're going from Orlando to Tampa or something, or maybe Orlando to Disney, yes, you're going to have some bad traffic, and I would actually just avoid I-4 and take the back roads. And that's at any time of day. You can be going from Orlando to Tampa at any time of day, and whenever you're going past Disney, you're going past the parks, you are passing the Lake Buena Vista exit, the Celebration exit, you are going to have a lot of traffic, and that is truly at any time of day. It's actually kind of crazy. It's like 2 p.m. on a Tuesday. You're like, where do these people work? Like, what's going on? There is a lot of traffic there. But that's not even really Orlando. Like, yes, Disney and Orlando go hand in hand, but Orlando's north of that. So if you're thinking about moving to Orlando, you are not going to have an issue with I-4. If you are thinking about moving to the Disney area, then yeah, you're going to have an issue with I-4, but what are you getting on I-4 for? You can go the back roads to downtown Orlando. There's a million different ways. I think when people think about traffic, they're thinking about the Disney traffic, which is totally fine. But as far as Orlando being an easy place to live and get around the city, Our interstates are fantastic. We have I-4, I'm just looking at the map over here. We have I-4 that takes, of course, you right through the middle of Orlando. Then we have the 408 that like cuts Orlando in half. We have 429, which runs up and down the west side of town. We have 417, which runs up and down. I mean, it's fantastic, and everything connects in the perfect places. So I think that as far as getting around Orlando, it's actually very simple, and the infrastructure is beautiful. We have medians, and they really built out everything very, very well for housing a lot of people. Not only this, but just Orlando in general is so central, and you can get to the villages really fast. You can get to Tampa really fast, St. Pete, Daytona Beach. You can get to all the beaches very quickly. And then it's just central in general. We also have the airport, which is so close by. So, I mean, the Orlando airport is like probably 20 minutes outside of downtown Orlando. And then if you're on the east side of Orlando, like if you are gonna buy a house near the 417, so Oviedo, Azalea Park, Union Park, even like Conway, Winter Springs, you're pretty close to the 417. So you are getting dropped off right at the airport if you're gonna take that highway there. I just think it's so easy. I love being able to travel and just going to the airport in my city. I love being in a big city where we have a main international airport. I just think that takes a lot of stress out of a lot of things. Not only are we just centered really well within the state of Florida, and we have the airport and we have really great infrastructure, I think that people really love where they live. So Orlando's kind of made up of a bunch of suburban areas, whatever. So like, for example, Oviedo is its own animal. Downtown Orlando is its own animal. Horizon West is its own animal. Windermere is its own animal. And they have done a really good job about building a city within these communities so that you don't have to go anywhere. For example, I moved to Oviedo maybe 20 years ago. Back then, we did kind of have to come into Winter Park in order to get like some really good restaurants and stuff like that. But now all these Winter Park restaurants have moved into Oviedo because so many people moved to Oviedo, especially during COVID. So people who live in Oviedo, you do not have to leave Oviedo now. They have the holiday celebrations that are coming up. If you're watching this video in time, it is late October right now. So I'm seeing all the announcements for like the Thanksgiving parades. I'm seeing the Christmas parades come out, New Year's plans I'm seeing come out, and that's like all the City of Oviedo stuff. So you no longer have to go from Horizon West or Claremont and go into downtown or into Winter Park to enjoy like the feeling of community. They have all these things. Maitland has their own farmers market. Oviedo has their own farmers market. I know Horizon West has its own farmers market. I'm just picking on those cities because they're like very opposite of each other. But that's just the ease of living in Orlando, is that I think that they really tried to make everything convenient, especially when they're building out these little towns, because it is a lot of people that live in Orlando. So why not make it convenient? Why not make it so that the people that they purchase and they invest in their community, they can just kind of operate within their community, and everything that they need is right there. I will say Orlando's very spread out. They've done a good job if you don't want to drive far after work or on the weekends, that you can just kind of exist within your neighborhood. It is pretty spaced out, and I do sometimes whenever we visit New York City, my husband and I love to go to New York City for the holidays and tennis, US Open and stuff like that. It is so nice because we can make reservations for anywhere in the city, and I know that I can just hop on a subway and I'll probably be there maximum 20 minutes. But Orlando, yeah, it's not that way. So yeah, I would say urban sprawl is a real thing. Everything is very spaced out. Our infrastructure is still good. I'm still gonna say that that's not a pain in the butt. That's like not the worst thing ever. There's just no easy way, like there's not a metro system or a subway system, obviously, to get around town. So you definitely need a car. Then the last thing I'll talk about with ease of living in Orlando is Florida used to be affordable. And I will say it's not really that affordable anymore. That would be one of the negative things. Back in the day, maybe before COVID, people from Miami were moving to Orlando because it's the next big city that's kind of close, that's at least not in, North Florida. It's still in the middle of the state. It's easy to get to from Miami. And I'm not seeing that too much anymore. I still am seeing people, because Miami is so insanely unaffordable, I am still seeing people move from Miami to Orlando. It's just not as prevalent anymore because Orlando is getting up there with it. And I go into this on some of my other videos, but I would say like a basic 32 with a pool that's decently upgraded, you're paying close to $500,000 at minimum in most areas, and then it's gonna go up from there. So I definitely would not consider that affordable at all. You can still get into houses in the mid 300s, especially in Claremont. You can buy, you know, new construction closer to 400,000, but there are resales in that mid 350 price point, which I do think is affordable. Okay, I'm moving on to the food scene, which is my favorite things to talk about. I would say Orlando gets a bad rep. Maybe you've heard that Orlando's just full of like Outbacks and Carrabba's, which is so true. Orlando loves a chain restaurant, and it always kind of shocks me, even around the parks. There's like TGI Fridays and Applebee's, and again, Outback Steakhouse. I love Outback Steakhouse, I do. I don't go there, but I remember I liked it. So there is a lot of chain restaurants, lots of Rocco's Tacos and stuff like that. But at the same time, we do have a really good food scene. I would say we do have a really good selection of foods, especially, and I said this earlier in my video, especially around the parks. The parks have some fantastic dining options, and we really do love going down there to eat, and it's so special and it's beautiful. They do a great job around there. And especially in areas like Disney Springs, there's some really amazing restaurants. Again, the JW Marriott has some fantastic restaurants. And that's another thing too that's like a little bit weird, is because it's a tourist area, a lot of times these really good restaurants are within hotels. But for example, like we have a reservation this weekend to go to Loom, which is in the JW Marriott, and you can see the Disney fireworks from up there, which is so cool. So there's a lot of really great options still, even though it might be kind of a tourist area. The locals still go to those places, because even though I'm not going to Disney every single weekend, I think that the fireworks are really cool. I think that seeing the SeaWorld fireworks are cool, the Disney fireworks are cool. So I love to see the sights, and you can, you know, go up to the rooftop and you can see the Orlando Eye from these restaurants, and you never get sick of that. Even if you're a local, you never get sick of that. There's also little niche spots in town, and some that I can think of off the top of my head is the Winter Park area and the Mills 50 area. They have some amazing restaurant groups that are opening up many clusters of restaurants, and they're all different and they're all so good. Another thing I really love about Orlando is they do something called magical dining. There's a curated menu, a magical dining menu, and it's typically at a discounted rate, and you get a starter, you get a main entree, you get a dessert, and maybe at other places you get something else. That's just something really fun that Orlando does, and I don't know if other cities do stuff like that. And I will say another con is you do have to make a reservation for absolutely everything. Something happened during COVID where everyone was moving to Orlando, and you didn't used to have to make a reservation for your just typical Wednesday night, but now you do. Now, when you think about things to do in Orlando, you might just think about the parks. You might think about SeaWorld, Islands of Adventure, but there is so much more to do. Like Lake Louisa State Park in Claremont is fantastic. We have the Little Big Econ, which is in Geneva, right outside of Oviedo, which is absolutely fantastic. And both of these have lakes, both of these have hiking trails, you can bike to them. Right outside Orlando, there is a dirt bike and ATV park called Croom. Orlando also has the Dr. Phillips Center, which is a huge performing arts center in downtown Orlando that has Broadway plays are now playing at the Dr. Phillips Center. They have an event space, they have a jazz club, they do comedy shows. It is so much fun. Downtown Orlando also has a really great long-standing comedy club called Sax. It's a really good time. We have a ton of state parks. We have the Wekiva Springs State Park, which is really cool. It has like a little spring and you can hang out there, or you can rent paddle boards and kayaks. We have De Leon Springs State Park, we have Lake Louisa State Park, and those three are in like a triangle around Orlando. So no matter what part of Orlando you're in, you're gonna be close to those. With those, there aren't really any cons. You can camp at those, they're not that packed, they're beautiful. Another pro that I don't wanna miss out on is that we have the Orlando Magic, which is our basketball team. We do have the Orlando City soccer team, and we do have the Solar Bears, which is hockey. And I would not say that there's any cons to having those, except the Orlando Magic is not doing that well so far this season. There is so much the city gives us as far as entertainment. Even in Winter Park has like Central Park, which is kind of like a little nod to Central Park in New York City, but it is like a strip of grass. And even last weekend they had the Sidewalk Festival for the arts. Okay, so if I have to talk about the cons, I would say during the summer, it's hot. It's just hot, okay? You don't do your hair in the summer. It's gonna rain every single day at like 3 p.m. So if there is a festival, you try to go earlier. If you're going to go on a hike, you try to go earlier in the day, because every single day during the summer and a little bit into the fall, actually just stopped. So really throughout hurricane season, which we'll get to, that's a con, you are going to have rain in the afternoon. It is humid, it's a tropical environment. You are going to have like a 30-minute intense thunderstorm that's going to ruin your plans if you're outdoors. So that's a con. And then yeah, we do have alligators. We have alligators. You assume that you have alligators in every body of water. So that is another con that Florida has. And does it stop any local from getting into the water? No, it does not. We are one with the alligators, okay? I've heard a few things that always make me feel better. One, I've heard that they don't like the sound of boats. So we are on the boat every single weekend. We like to surf, we like to wakeboard, and that is me living my best Florida life, and I'm not going to stop that. Have I ever seen a gator? No. Have I heard that people have seen a gator in that lake? Yes. I love to just think that they don't like the sound of boats, so that keeps me sane while I'm in the water. And as far as the Lake Eola attractions, if there is like the Lake Eola Farmers Market or any sort of free event in downtown Orlando, you are going to have a very hard time getting there with traffic. People love free stuff, and downtown Orlando is very easy to get to. There are a lot of major highways that connect you to downtown Orlando. So the pro is that it's easy to get to, and the con is that it's also easy for everyone else to get to. Okay, so let's talk about the last thing, which is the weather. It is October, late October. This is when it's going to start to cool off. And by that, I mean we are in the mid to high 80s during the day. And at night, I would say we're in the mid to high 70s, which this is the best time of year. Everyone loves this time of year in Orlando. In the summer, you are looking at 105 degrees and it's hot. And it does rain every single day at that time. It's so hot and so humid that the clouds cannot take it, and it rains every single day. We will have winter in January, February, and probably a little bit of March, where it could be in the low 70s all day long, which is fantastic. And we don't know how to dress for that. So we just complain about how cold it is. And then in the summer, we complain about how hot it is. So you're just complaining year round about the weather. You're complaining about the hurricane, you're complaining about the heat, you're complaining about the cold, you're complaining about the rain. We just complain a lot. And of course, I have to touch on hurricane season. So I'm not going to say anything that's going to jinx us for this hurricane season, but hurricane season does begin around June, and I think it ends the end of November. When a hurricane is brewing, it is on all of our news for like 24/7. Everyone's watching it to make sure it's not coming our way. And I will say hurricanes are kind of interesting because we have like a week notice. I would say it can send some people into a little bit of a spiral if they're very anxious about hurricanes, or if you've had a really bad experience with hurricanes in the past. I would say the majority of Orlando, you are completely fine. One thing to note is one of the worst parts about hurricane is a storm surge, which is basically making the waves really bad on the coast. So when you're on the coast, you worry about everything. When you're in Orlando, you worry about, is my roof gonna leak? Am I on a lake or a river that could flood? Or am I just in a flood zone in general? But you don't have to worry about the storm surge because we're too much inland. I will also say that around new build areas, you need to make sure that they have planned out enough retention ponds for the water to go and what happens to the water. Because sometimes whenever there's an established area, like this happened really bad in 2021 in Oviedo and Seminole County, there has been a lot of new construction in that area. And whenever they built the new construction, you build it up. So they give them a few feet to be above the water level. Well, that land maybe used to be a reserve for the hurricane water, and now there's a house on it. So where's that water going? So there's a lot of things you just need to know, and just working with a local agent and asking the right questions and watching videos about it is going to be really important. But as far as hurricanes in Orlando, I will also say that once a hurricane hits land, it starts to die. But in Orlando, I'm not going to say you're fine, because we have had really bad instances and really bad hurricanes. But there are things that can prevent you from having any issues. Staying up to date with your roof, not being near a pond or a river or a lake. Tree trimming is a really big deal. Having hurricane shutters is fantastic. There's just little steps that everyone takes in order to mitigate the risk. But in Orlando, I would say you're mainly fine. Anywho, that is a definite con, just something to think about. I do think that every state has its own things though. For example, a lot of my family's in Kansas, they have tornadoes. So everyone has their things. Chicago has like insane ice storms, insane cold. So hurricanes is us. The other thing I'm going to talk about is the bugs. The bugs is an actual con that you do have to think about. In Orlando, mosquitoes are rampant. They spray for mosquitoes. You can have kind of like a termite service for mosquitoes. I would definitely suggest having a screened in patio. If you do not have a screened in patio, your maintenance on your patio is going to be insane. And we have a lot of pollen and a lot of allergens. So we do have all of that going for us. I think it's a very good rule of thumb in Florida to, if you're going to buy outdoor furniture, it needs to be durable, it needs to be covered, and it needs to be screened in. And then in Florida, we do not keep our windows and our doors open. It is too humid outside. You will ruin your AC system. The inside is the inside and the outside is the outside. Do not try to blend the two. Of course, just a few little things I'll touch on, some pros and cons. Some pros being Orlando is a big city, and it's relatively affordable compared to those big cities. Do I think it's affordable? No. Is it more affordable than Tampa, Miami, New York, Chicago? Yes. We have the airport, we have the infrastructure, we have no state income tax. That's fantastic. And I know that our Governor Ron DeSantis just put in for putting something on the ballot for no property tax, which is insanely fantastic. He's always been a big proponent of that. So I think that Orlando is still a fantastic bet. We have our pros and cons just like everyone else. If you are okay with alligators, hurricanes, and spiders, you are welcome here. I'm just kidding. Those are all decently avoidable except hurricanes, and you just have to be smart about those. So I hope that this was informative. If you have any questions about living in Orlando, some pros and cons, please drop them in the comments or shoot me an email. Bye.